Greetings. This is General CJG here, coming to you with another Boba Fett podcast. Does this sound like some sort of theme that's happening here? Well, as of the recording of this video, some of you guys probably have realized some sort of special surprise that happened in a certain recent Disney Plus TV show. We're not gonna go into too much detail here, though those viewers will know about it. So we're pretty much taking advantage of that, and that's why we're doing all sorts of Boba Fett content. So last time I did Enemy of the Empire with the Jango Fett and Daniel. This time we're gonna be doing Blood Ties, Tale of Jango and Boba Fett. And here with me I got my partners.
This is the Spider-Fan Maniac.
Mm-hmm.
This is Jedi Master Daniel 96. This is the way.
Yep. So we're gonna get into Blood Ties, Tale of Jango and Boba Fett. First things is our quick thoughts on this comic. So I thought comic was pretty good. It definitely had a better art style than Enemy of the Empire. And the story was definitely somewhat more interesting, especially when you compare to the first 3 issues of Enemy of the Empire. I thought this entire comic was better. So there's that. Who else wants to say their quick thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this story was pretty good, and I definitely agree what General had to say, and definitely way better art style. And I'd say both for Jango and Boba, like they really nailed the art and got it pretty accurate as they are portrayed in the movies. Like, you know, because with Jango and Boba, you get the thing of them with Tamara Morrison, it looks pretty accurate. And then even with the young Boba at the beginning, they get it pretty accurate with Daniel Logan as you see him in Attack of the Clones.
Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm.
I also think this comic book is great because of art style, and I think this is the most photorealistic EU comic that is out there. I mean, Star Wars comics in general.
Yeah, you could say that. I think the artist definitely did a damn good job. This is the same artist that did the art for Star Wars Purge: The Hidden Blade, Chris Scalf. That's what he's called. So yeah, it's very interesting. So that same art style, he put it here, and it works very well.
I mean, the comic looks like it's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In many ways, it does. It looks like a Star Wars movie, which is awesome. So, anything else to mention before we finally dive into the specific issues?
I think I've said what I need to say.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's go with the first issue. Who wants to read the summary of?
So the comic book starts with Boba Fett for some reason getting gunpointed by a bunch of mercenaries and staring at a crazy man, as he says. And then it goes back to many, many years when he was a child. And Jango is training Boba Fett to fly his jetpack and take out a tooth from this monster. Wait, what is he? What is this monster even called? Is it a Rancor?
It's called it's called the
Pardlam.
No, the Pardlam is the pest that is the food of the Baliak.
Alright.
Yeah, it's called the Baliak.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then Boba successfully takes out the tooth and asks Jango, like, "Why did you make me do this?" And Jango's like, you defeated one of the scariest monsters in the galaxy, so you won't need to be scared in the future. And then they go into Slave 1 and see Count Dooku. And Count Dooku's like, there's this dangerous person who's going to reveal our plans for the clone army.
This bunch of him.
Yeah. And Count Dooku's like, this man is so dangerous. And Boba Fett's like, no one is as dangerous as my dad. I don't think that's something you should brag about, but okay.
Well, it's Jango Fett. His reputation right now is definitely...
And then Jango and Boba Fett goes to this planet, which is called, what was it? Planet Atsuri.
Yeah, Atsuri.
And then there's some couple of stupid, traffic control dudes saying, like, you need to pay a fee, and Jango Fett's like, no, and kills them.
That was something there.
Yep.
And Jango and Boba is like getting out of Slave One, and Boba's like, no one will be stupid enough to, scavenge or steal Jango Fett's ship. And Jango's like, there are a lot of stupid people. And Jango and Boba Fett goes and finds the target. Jango tells Boba to snipe the target, and Boba Fett misses, and Jango Fett goes in to finish the job himself. And then when he takes off the helmet of his bounty, he sees that looks like him. And then he realizes that person is a clone trooper. And Jango Fett hesitates whether to kill him or not.
And that's where the issue ends. The reveal that the target all along was a clone trooper. So, what do you guys think of this first issue?
I thought it was a pretty good start, and then definitely the twist at the end I thought was pretty interesting. Now the other guy was a clone, which I thought was something, and then it was pretty interesting the way it started.
Yeah, we've never really seen Jango Fett go face to face with his grown-up clones. Well, maybe in other media like the books, but not in a visual form, if you ask me. At least not face to face, as in without Jango's helmet or the clone trooper's helmet, if you get what I mean. So it definitely was the first time we actually saw that, though maybe not in the best case scenario, but yeah, like the clone unfortunately being pointed at gunpoint by the original the original suspect for all the clones.
Yeah.
So
And it's also good to see Jango Fett and Boba Fett having more scenes,
Yeah, I really did like that bonding they had together.
yeah, like father like son, even if one of them's a clone, but but yeah, you can definitely see that Boba does look up to Jango a lot like his dad.
Even as a kid, Boba Fett was still pretty much a badass because he takes the teeth out of the monster and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I did it, and since then he's had no fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. So, anything else to mention on the first issue?
I said what I needed to say.
Okay, then let's go to the second issue. So, who wants to go for this one?
Me.
Okay.
Got my notes ready. So, pretty much this continues where the first issue left off. Jango, he killed the guy. Then we turn around, someone says, no, please. And then Jango turns around, and it's a lady carrying a child, like she's all protecting him. Then we learn that the child's name is Connor Freeman. Then the lady questions Jango, why do they look alike? She says, about her husband's face is, pretty much similar to Jango because they're both clones, but the lady doesn't know that.
One is a clone, the other's the original.
Yeah. So, continuing on. So, Jango returns to Boba. Boba asks his dad, did he get him? Then they leave the planet. Then we fast forward to a panel where, we pretty much see the events of Attack of the Clones with Mace Windu cutting Jango Fett's head off with Boba Fett watching the events. Then we go to the present day, and then it's pretty much where Boba says he would have avenged him. Then we fast forward to the present day. Then pretty much, where it starts off with the story of, the main story. And Mun assigns Boba to go after Connor Freeman, which is the child Jango saw after he killed the guy that looked like him. And then Boba points his blaster at the Mun, and then, when he questions him, then the Mun explains about Connor. Then he says how Connor owes him a lot of credits. Then the Mun mentions of a crime lord named Tay-And, if I said that right. So have I butchered that name?
Yeah.
Then, we fast forward to a bar scene, which is like a creature, like a Dexter Jettster kind of character. Same species as Dexter Jettster and Prawn Krell, which then the bartender, because we see Connor just sleeping in the bar. Then the bartender wakes him up. Yeah, and then we kind of see this, like Zuckus-like creature coming for Connor.
Yeah.
Then he pretty much, he wants Connor, and then Connor asks for a blaster from the Dexter Jettster-like creature. Then Connor shoots the Zuckus-looking creature. Then we see Connor dragging the body out of the bar. Then we see someone try to shoot him. Then Connor shoots that person and runs. The other bounty hunters go after Connor, and then he's at a dead end. Then Boba Fett appears, and Boba Fett takes the blaster from Connor. Then Fett handcuffs Connor. Then Boba gets surrounded by the other hunters. Then Connor asks why the bounty hunters are after him. They want Freeman. Then we see Boba Fett and Bosk see each other. And then we see Boba Fett ready to go to an epic showdown with the other bounty hunters.
And that's
pretty much how the issue ends.
Yeah, so noteworthy parts of here is that so when the man was pretty much going to I thought your father told you about oh wait, no, never mind. And then Bo was like, you better tell me what you were going to say, otherwise I'm gonna blast your fucking head off.
Oh yeah, Boba was just ready to shoot him.
Yeah, so indeed. And can I also mention sleeping at the freaking bartenders?
Yeah, that was so weird.
Well,
was he drunk or something?
Well, obviously people that sleep in bars are drunk.
Yeah, and then he was sleeping and then just pointed his gun back and killed the bounty hunter. He must have dealt with this kind of thing many times, because that's not something you just do naturally.
Yeah.
While you're just sleeping and shoot someone in the back. He must have done that at least once prior to this.
I'd say two times.
Well, yeah, he was just sleeping in the bar, and he's like, "Can I borrow your blaster?" And then he goes, "Bam!"
It must have paid.
Yeah.
It must have paid.
And then, he said to bartenders, I'm not cleaning this garbage. You take the body out and deal with yourself, which is funny.
Yeah, and then he just dragged him out of the bar.
It's not like the Mos Eisley Cantina where Han Solo just kills Greedo and lifts him over there,
Yeah, and then we just see Greedo on the floor.
Yeah, of course Han had to pay with a credit to the bartender, to get out of trouble.
Yeah, to get Greedo out.
Yeah, so indeed.
And seriously, League of Bounty Hunters, what a bunch of losers, man.
Yeah.
And we'll get to how much they are a bunch of losers in the next issue.
In this issue, basically Bosk and Fett is meeting, and Bosk is like, okay, Boba, do you really have to hang out with these losers? And Bosk is like, whatever, just deal with these stupid guys. I'm not gonna be part of this nonsense.
Yeah, because apparently Connor was not worth too much for Bosk's attention, which makes sense. And again, also Boba would have also not given a shit had the man not mentioned that apparently Connor, he was using the credits from a bank account that Jango himself had placed. So, which this issue pretty much, well, this is more of something the comic in general, but it pretty much shows how the actions of what Jango Fett did in the past, they still affect Boba Fett even to this day, which is, that's very interesting, because that's something we didn't really see in the movies, if you ask me, or even in a few other comics. So this is probably the first one we actually see that, if you ask me. So it's pretty interesting. And can I also mention how Connor Freeman does look? He does kind of look like a combination of Daniel Logan's Boba Fett as well as a bit of Tamora Morrison. He's like a teenager version of both, but not necessarily the same, because he's not fully a clone of Tamora Morrison.
I'd say he had the longer hair.
Yeah, he had the longer hair. The face was kind of like Jango Fett's, but not that much like. So he was still more his own, but definitely he had those traits of Jango Fett. So
I would say he did have the hair like Boba Fett's appearance in Attack of the Clones.
Indeed. So yeah. Anything else to mention on this issue?
I think I said what I need to say.
Okay, then let's go to the third issue. Now I'll go with this one.
Okay.
So, as it ended, Boba Fett is never unarmed. And apparently, the League of Bounty Hunters, they're fucking idiots. They should have probably known what would have happened. Because Boba Fett, all he had to do is just activate his freaking wrist flamethrower to burn the shit out of them. Fucking idiots. Have they never heard of what Boba Fett can do? Seriously.
Or, I don't know. Or what basically a Mandalorian armor has. You know?
Yeah.
Oh god, those fucking idiots. And he even has freaking wrist lasers. Like, seriously, Boba Fett is fucking packed. He doesn't need... Well, I mean, yes, he does use his blaster rifle several times, but he doesn't always need it. Like, seriously.
I mean, his entire armor is a weapon. I mean, that's the whole Mandalorian set gear. You don't just... Like, what kind of world is this? Like, just because he drops his main EE3 doesn't mean he's not armed.
Yeah, even if you were unarmed against Boba Fett, you're screwed regardless if he didn't have his blaster or not.
Yeah. Indeed. So, and of course, he had the mini concussion rocket launchers, stun darts, the fiber cord whip. Like, yeah, he's... And of course, his Mandalorian armor is heat resistant, so he doesn't have to worry about his own flames burning him. So, yeah, he pretty much has the entire freaking package. And then Connor Freeman was trying to run away, but Boba Fett pretty much catched up to him. And he put him unconscious, and they escaped to some sort of refueling station. And Boba Fett decided to remove his helmet so that he would pretty much show his face to Connor Freeman as to why to get answers out of him. And of course, Connor Freeman is like, you have my father's face, but as we now know, it's because Connor's father was, a clone, and the clone was killed by Jango Fett, and Boba Fett knows of that. And Connor decided to insult Jango Fett. He was a butcher. He was scum. And Boba was like, shut up! And they pretty much fight it off. And then Boba reveals, maybe I am heartless. I certainly didn't feel anything when I shot your father in the head through a window 20 years ago. And Connor's like, yeah! And they start fighting. And unfortunately, Slave One was alerting of incoming enemies. But, well, too late. And the ship struck at them with a big blast. And, well, the guy with the red eye, he pretty much was like, this is for the League of Bounty Hunters. Which, by the way, only 2 of them remained. So much for the League of Bounty Hunters. And, well, the guy with the red eye, he did shoot Boba Fett in the chest, but, well, it's Mandalorian armor, so... And the guy didn't even bother to check if he was actually dead. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. So then the remaining League of Bounty Hunters decided to try to deliver Connor to the crime lord, freaking Tyan. That's what he's called.
Tyan.
Mm-hmm. So they go, and Connor's like pretty much taunting the shit out of them. And, well, Boba Fett survived, and he's pretty much gonna go after them. So, and then that's where the issue ends. It ends with both Connor and Boba Fett, I guess, finding some sort of way to... How do you make a dead man proud? As in, Connor means his father, Boba means Jango Fett, his genetical father. It's about legacies, what you're trying to do for their fathers. So that's going to be an interesting one to see in the next issue. So what do you guys think of this issue?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Like the first few panels where it basically introduced every single weapon Boba Fett has, and he's using it. The flamethrower, the wrist laser, the concussion rockets, fiber cord whip.
Standards, like the entire freaking package. And those fucking idiots, they never even did their research on Boba Fett. Those fucking idiots. Man, those idiots, seriously, I mean, wow, just, God, those fucking idiots.
It's the Mandalorian armor!
Well, yes, but they didn't think. So, there you go. God, those fucking idiots.
And then it was like kind of weird, like Boba Fett actually impersonates Jango Fett and starts to taunt, Connor Freeman. Like,
he did it to get answers out of him, which makes sense given that supposedly, given that Connor Freeman has history with Jango Fett in some way, so there's that.
And it's especially weird that one of the League of Bounty Hunters, what a bunch of losers, seriously.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what is worse, the pessimist or the League of Bounty Hunters. Seriously.
I'm gonna say the League of Bounty Hunters because they didn't even bother to. Because at least the pessimists wanted to stay out of trouble. Unfortunately, trouble got to them. The League of Bounty Hunters, they just seek trouble, and they absolutely failed hard to even make their research.
Then, yeah, the League of Bounty Hunters basically fire a laser to Slave 1, but if you actually see the few next panels, Slave 1 is fully intact. So where the hell did you fire the laser? And why the hell the ship is fully intact? What?
They're idiots.
How are you so incompetent?
Because they're fucking idiots. They're fucking idiots. Oh my god.
Yeah, because it kind of like because like it's all still intact, the Slave 1, and it's like I don't know, like it is sort of as you go to question, where did they even shoot him?
Hey, the ship is intact. I mean, if you actually look at the panel, I mean, seriously, it looks like the laser is going straight to the ship.
Yeah. But, well, they're fucking incompetent as fuck. Like, Jesus Christ. So fucking idiots. You know, if those idiots had actually survived beyond this comic, what do you think would have happened to them?
I don't know.
Oh my god, that would be something. So, but yeah, anything else to mention on this comic? This
I
issue?
really liked the showdown Boba Fett had with the bounty hunters. And then how screwed they got when he thought he was unarmed.
Oh god, those fucking idiots. Can I mention something regarding seeing Boba Fett without his helmet? We rarely see him in his Tamora Morrison face when grown up. We see him more as either Daniel Logan or some concept art prior to 2002. Like, I haven't really seen Boba Fett too much, with his, Tamora Morrison likeness when grown up.
Yeah.
So
mostly I've seen it in like fan art and stuff. Like someone I've seen like photos, like someone photoshopped Tamara Morrison's face on a Boba Fett from the original trilogy. Man, because even in the 2008 Clone Wars, because there's, I think, a few episodes where you see him with the episode 2 look, and then I think later on in the 08 Clone Wars, you see him bald.
I mean, the thing is, like, this comic has the advantage of being made in the post-prequel trilogy era.
Yeah, because... we were all done. Like, prequels were done. The 08 Clone Wars was in the middle of airing and all that. So, yeah, because even that, when did this come out in 2010? Did this come out, like, when the Clone Wars Season 2 was airing,
September
or the beginning of Clone Wars Season 3?
August 2010 is when this comic came out. So, anyway, we'll get into more details on, I guess, the impact of this comic in regards to the EU timeline. So, next issue, who wants to get into it?
Basically, the remaining survivor of the League of Bounty Hunters tries to take Connor Freeman to Tayand, but Boba Fett appears and takes him. And Connor Freeman tries to shoot Boba Fett, but he decides not to, because if he shoots Boba Fett and he falls down, he's gonna die also. So he decides to not, because that would be stupid, right? And he reveals why Tayand wants him dead, because he won him using his father's credits. Well, Jango's credits.
So, a sword.
And then, because Tayand was butthurt, he sends his assassins after him to kill him. And Connor Freeman runs away. And then we actually go to Tayand's base. And then Tayand is surprised, like someone like Boba Fett actually appears, because he thinks this is too lowly, or such an insignificant job for someone his reputation would deal with. And then one of the remaining survivor of the League of Bounty Hunters comes and say, like, that bounty belongs to me. And then Boba Fett is like, well, that's like your opinion, man. And Boba Fett decides to pay Connor Freeman's debt, and Tayand's like, no, I want this guy dead. And then Tayand is still saying he cheated. And Boba Fett said, I'm gonna pay you. And then Connor Freeman gets like 3 credits. Okay, I'm gonna pay you, Boba Fett, to kill all these bastards. And Tayand's like, do you think Boba Fett will accept your bounty? And Boba Fett's like, I accept. And then everyone is pointing their blasters at Boba Fett, including a freaking Rancor on his back. And Boba's like looking. We see the first issue, panels from the first issue, and Taiyan's like, "You don't want me to be your enemy," and Boba Fett's like, "No, I don't want you to be my enemy. You're freaking crazy." And then blaster fight happens. Everyone dies, and Connor Freeman helps Boba Fett, and Boba Fett puts the jetpack on the remaining survivor of the League of Bounty Hunters, and then he flies to the mouth of the Rancor, and then both the Rancor and the Bounty Hunter dies. And Boba Fett says to Connor Freeman, like, "Where's my 3 credits?" He doesn't forget, even if it's 3 credits.
Oh my god, that's something.
Boba Fett collects the teeth. Connor Freeman is like, "I'm getting all the jewels here." And then the comic ends with Tomorrow Morrison's face on the top, and Boba Fett and Connor Freeman separating and going to their each paths.
Mm-hmm. Basically trying to make a dead man proud, their own fathers.
Yeah.
And that's where the comic ends. So,
Mm-hmm.
what do you guys think of this one? Last issue?
Yeah, good comic. I mean, I thought it was, pretty entertaining. And then, like, that, the Crime Lord Taiyan said, "You don't want to make an enemy Fett," and then, man, just Boba Fett just goes at him and shoots him through the head. And then, like, because Boba Fett, you don't want to mess with him.
Yes.
Just like, with the League of Bounty Hunters, definitely in the previous issue, I mean, definitely it's someone you don't want to mess with Boba Fett. Because Boba Fett isn't a guy you don't want to mess with. And then, man, like Boba Fett showed Taiyan's, man, that was something like when he went through the Rancor.
Yes, indeed. So, Doan, what do you think of this final issue?
I think it was very enjoyable. Boba Fett and Connor Freeman killing every single one of them, and
And the League of Bounty Hunters being fucking idiots again.
it's not even a league; it's just one guy.
Yeah, because the last guy, because two of them remained, and one of them was killed by Connor grabbing his blaster from the back and shooting him in the back. Like, that's the most pathetic way to go down.
What's one of the funny scenes here is like Taiyan is like, "You don't want me to be your enemy, Fett," and Boba Fett's like, "I agree. You're crazy. I'm gonna kill you now."
Yes, and he killed him pretty much immediately. He just shot him in the face. That was hilarious. And yeah, killing Boba Fett is an insane task. And not even a fucking Sarlacc pin can do it. Then how the hell will simple mercenaries do it?
Yeah.
So.
Because if he can survive the Sarlacc pit, even a group of mercenaries can't kill Boba.
Yeah. Oh, and also right, Darth Vader. That too.
And there was this scene, was it? What's the matter? Can't shoot a defenseless man in the face? Like, saying the same thing Boba Fett said, but this time it's like, "Oh, I can, but not when I have something far more useful in mind." And man, the guy was useful, I guess.
Yeah, to pretty much put him as not only food for the Rancor, but to have the jetpack explode in his mouth, killing the Rancor. Man, that was a clever way for Boba Fett to kill the Rancor. Which harkens back to the first issue, where he needed to get tea for his father. So that was awesome. So yeah, anything else to mention on this final issue?
Oh yeah, and I find it weird that Boba Fett doesn't use his EE3 here. Instead, he uses a pistol. Where is his EE3 anyway?
He probably either lost it or one of the guys took it in the issue 2 or something. I don't know. No idea. Yeah. Obviously, he does get it back sometime after this comic. So, yeah, that's interesting. So, any final thing to say on this issue?
I said what I need to say.
Okay, well, I guess now we'll get into the EU connections or references for this comic. And because this comic came out in 2010, there's not going to be many of them. In fact, there's going to be less than even Enemy of the Empire, because at least that one had plenty of reference books connecting and referencing it. This one, there's only one major reference, and it's the planet Ateri. That planet actually comes from the Black Fleet Crisis trilogy. Yep, it actually comes from that. So,
and that planet has also was mentioned in Jedi Order, appears in Legacy of the Force Bloodlines. So I guess this is the biggest EU reference that this comic has, the planet Atzeri. So that's the biggest one. As for others, well, the only thing I can think of is Connor Freeman showing up in the next Blood Ties comic, Blood Ties 2. And, well, that's kind of it, actually, because unfortunately the characters in this comic, they don't have any mentions in any essential guides or anything, not even the Essential Reader's Companion. Like, this comic doesn't seem to get mentioned that much in terms of essential guides. Granted, it's because it came out in 2010, but I think the only one would be the Essential Reader's Companion, but that's about it.
I don't recall it in the Reader's Companion, but the Essentials Reader's Companion does share a fair amount of comics, but not all of them.
And I think Republic Commando has a lot of clones marrying and having children with with a woman, which is a common theme. You can see clones getting married.
You think that's something this comic got out of, from the Republic Commando?
Clones deserting the army and trying to have a life, but the general thing, clones trying to get away from the Republic army, and then, assassins or mercenaries are sent after them.
Yeah.
That's a common theme you can see in Republic Commando.
Yeah, that much is true. Question. So could it be that this clone that deserted was him an ARC trooper? It has to be. He can't be a regular clone trooper because those were genetically modified to, forward.
Then again, it could be this, like, at the time, there was, like, you remember the TCW episode, right, where a clone marries a Twi'lek and has a family of his own. And
yeah, but I don't...
kind of know what you're meaning.
I don't...
Is it like they're on, like, Seleucami or something?
Yeah, but I don't think this comic is following too much TCW, if you ask me, honestly, and because I didn't see any TCW references in this comic, like none whatsoever.
Because I think they may have been limited on what they could tie in with TCW at the time, just like how some comics when the prequels are coming out, they were limited on what they can tie in with those movies. So probably the same thing applied there.
I think it can easily be that the clone, the one distorted and had the son Connor Freeman. I think we can easily retcon it as him being an ARC trooper because those have their own independence, or it was one to be destined Republic Commando, one or the other.
Yeah, because with that clone we see in the beginning, I mean, this is like way before the Clone Wars started.
Yeah,
because Jango Fett's still alive, and then after the Jedi battle in the arena, that's where the Clone Wars officially starts in Attack of the Clones.
Actually, this comic happens like some days or weeks before the Clone Wars chronological. It's the same year, 22 BBY.
So probably like what day, like the same week Attack of the Clones starts?
Yeah, it could be, possibly.
Or probably like this could have, like that beginning could have taken place like a couple days, or even like way before, we first see Jango Fett on screen. Because when we first see Jango Fett on screen in Attack of the Clones, we see him when he gives the tube to Zam Wessel with the slugs that he goes and to put in Padme's apartment.
I mean, it was also kind of interesting to see a Mune during close to the OT era, because, I mean, the fact that a prequel era alien creatures in the original trilogy. I mean, it's kind of some years before original trilogy, but still, that's like interesting.
The months the months weren't really featured. Their homeworld was indeed expanded universe prequels. Munilist appeared in the Hand of Trondology, but months themselves, they appeared until, if I'm not mistaken, Attack of the Clones. As far as
that's what they first appeared in movie-wise. Episode Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. So actually, the months probably. Actually, the months probably first appeared in... Oh, no, actually, yes, it was Attack the Clones. So
it's kind of obvious that this comic is trying to reference characters that aren't actually... So basically, they have this alien character who obviously looks like Dexter Jester, but somehow it's not Dexter Jester.
Yeah.
You obviously have this character who looks like Zuckus, but he's not Zuckus.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I just figured out the months actually were not first featured in Attack of the Clones. They were actually first featured in a HoloNet News. HoloNet News volume 531, number 45 to be precise.
Banking Clan was first mentioned in Cloak of Deception, so yeah.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
Banking
'cause
Clan,
it's
but the
what-
months themselves I'm talking about. So that
you
was
going
first
for the
featuring.
in-universe perspective?
No, I'm going by the expanded universe connection / references in this comic. So the Mon is one of them. So,
Yeah.
Bosk.
yeah.
And Bosk appears, which is okay.
Well, that's from episode 5.
Yeah, he first appears in Empire.
Yeah, so he's
Then,
not.
like,
he's
how
not-
close is this to A New Hope? Like,
It's 2 years close to New Hope.
to
It's
so
2
to
BBY.
BBY?
Yes. It's 2 BBY to be precise.
Yeah, because that's when the Force Unleashed, the first Force Unleashed, happens the same year.
Yeah, but there's no connection
then-
to the Force Unleashed in this comic. So
Yeah,
we cannot
because
really
there's
mention that.
because this even came out the same year the Force Unleashed 2 came out, and Boba Fett appears in the Force Unleashed 2. But
Yeah.
as you said, no connection to
There's
that.
there's no connection, so we can't really mention it.
Yeah, would you say like 2010 seemed to be a big Boba Fett year? Being hit in TCW episodes when season 2 was aired.
That was more like 2009.
Too bad, because the second season of TCW was the fall of 2009 to the spring of 2010. And obviously in 2010, people were celebrating the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back.
Well, I don't know
30.
if 2010 would be the year of Boba. I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, I could see
Yeah, and
why
then-
because of Empire Strikes Back, but then again, Empire Strikes Back was not Boba Fett's first appearance. It was a
It
holiday
was a holiday special to be
So-
exact.
So yeah, I don't really think. I think this comic was they just made it so to get something out in the year
Yeah.
in the last years before the year was canonized. So
Actually, because this was 2 years before Disney bought Lucasfilm. Like,
Yes.
so, like 2 years before George Lucas sells the company.
yes,
So
exactly.
probably, behind the scene. I mean, so I'd say he was developing. I remember reading he was developing his episode 7 treatment like a year before the sale, and I guess maybe he thought about it. Like probably he was sort of behind the scenes, probably mapping out the future of Lucasfilm
Maybe, who knows?
somewhat in the process, maybe,
Maybe, who knows?
or maybe 2011 was more it, and then probably 2012.
Maybe. So now here's the thing. We've had Siri pretty much being mentioned in terms of it being the biggest EU reference to this comic. Possibly the events of this comic, at least when Jango Fett went with Boba to get to get the clone. Possibly the reference in the Essential Reader's Companion, or the reference in the because this planet actually doesn't show up in the Essential Guide to Warfare. It only shows in the Essential Atlas and Reader's Companion. So maybe the Essential Reader's Companion references this comic, but not fully. Who knows? We'll have to check.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, we'll have to check. But as of right now, the only big EU references for this comic are Atzeri, the planet itself, and the Mon, and that's pretty much it as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I'd say it's kind of I'd say it's a story you don't have to go in with like any prior knowledge to things. Like it's really that story like you just read it on its own merit.
Though obviously you need to watch the Star Wars movies first before.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you're a movie only person, a movie and TV show only person trying to get into the books and comics, but from both timelines, if you want to get into the EU and want to, if you're into Boba Fett, this is definitely a comic you should definitely check out.
Yeah, indeed. So there's that. Now, any other I guess references or anything that you can think of?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, not that I know of. I'd say it's its own self-contained story.
Yeah, mostly. So, okay. By the way, I noticed that the mon, while it first appeared in the HoloNet, it actually its name was first identified as Star Wars Gamer 10. So I guess that's another.
What year?
What year? Well, Star Wars Gamer 10 came out in 2002. So.
Oh, yeah, because they mentioned as Doan said, they do mention the banking clan in Cloak of Deception, which was published a year before Attack of the Clones came out.
Yeah, so, however, the months were pretty much fully featured in 2002. HoloNet News Volume 531, and then, of course, that in the Star Wars Gamer 10. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much it in terms of your references for this comic. Not that many. I hope that the next Boba Fett comics we tackle have more. I'm hoping that at least a few of them have more. So, I guess there's it for your references. So let's get to the conclusion. So, who wants to go first to say your thoughts on this comic as a whole?
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, really enjoyed this comic. I'd say it was a pretty good comic from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and definitely pretty good artwork, and definitely was impressed that they got like the faces of Tamara Morrison and Daniel Logan pretty accurate. Like, did a pretty damn good job at it. Like, really good.
Yeah, indeed. Doan?
I also agree with Daniel that the artwork is the greatest thing for this comic, and I also like that the story is set in the original trilogy era, which connects more to the prequel trilogy. Because Jango Fett is a prequel trilogy era character, and his actions have consequences still in the original trilogy. Makes it the story more impactful.
Yeah.
Sure. And I'd agree with Doan there. I'd say it serves as a very good bridge between the prequels and the originals. Like, I'd say, brings it all together.
Yeah, that is something we forgot to mention. That we don't really see too many connections to the prequels and original trilogy. At least outside of the movies in the expanded universe, we don't see it much. Books, we rarely see it. In comics, we do see it more. So this is one of those comics that does show that.
Yeah, that's definitely what I like. I like actually kind of bridging the saga. I definitely like that kind of thing where you can kind of, I don't know, like let's say you're bridging something with the prequel and the original trilogy. I like that way. I like to kind of unite it. Even with the new canon, I'd like to kind of bridge the three trilogies. Like if you're going by the expanded universe, I'd like to bridge the two trilogies.
Yeah, comics and video games are the ones that bridge them the best. Books, not so much. So there's that. Now, my thoughts on this comic, well, I thought it was pretty damn awesome. And Enemy of the Empire was a solid read. The first three issues, the art style was the least best thing of that comic. The art style in issue 4 definitely was much better. But the story at least was fairly interesting. It definitely got better the more you read. This one, the story was great from start to finish, and the art style was excellent from start to finish. I think this one is definitely an improvement over Enemy of the Empire. And considering this comic came out roughly a decade after Enemy of the Empire, this one definitely benefits a lot from the prequels existing. So it's pretty damn awesome that this is definitely a big improvement, not only storytelling but visually, and also having the Star Wars timeline established, at least in regards to both the prequels and the original trilogy. So it had plenty of sources to get out. So
true, because like by this time the prequels were over, and it was like I'd say they had a lot more leeway to bridge the two trilogies, as you said, with kind of how you feel like I think this is more where a comic like this is more where you can see why there's such an appeasement for Boba Fett, like why he's so loved by the fans.
Yeah, indeed. So this comic was awesome, and I can't wait to read more Boba Fett one-shots. We'll see how the others fare, and next Boba Fett podcast It's going to be a different one. It's not going to be the continuation to Blood Ties. The continuation of Blood Ties, we're going to reserve it for when that one is available. The next podcast is going to be with the Jango Fett coming back. Yep. We're going to do another one. Which one? Well, stay tuned for that. So, that's pretty much it for this podcast. So, we'll see you guys on the next State of Star Wars. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.